talk about something that really hits home for me, especially because of the fact that I was always scared of this. It's something called failure, right? And all of us, at some point or another, have actually, experienced this to some degree. And it all depends on how you perceive failure. Is what really dictates the successes in your life. So I actually kind of want to start off with a question. It's rather a simple question. Who here has ever failed? Good, good. And actually, this is like the only part I actually scripted about my whole entire, little skit here. Actually, I'm very conversational when it comes to these type of things. Like, I like to think of it as if I'm talking to my boys. Like, I'm going to be cursing a little bit here and there. Just being really authentic, because that's the type of person I am, I'm obviously not going to be saying fuck every other second, but you sort of get the point, right? So my other thing was, who's ever failed a test in high school? You never failed a test?
No.
For real? Alright, so some people are gifted and shit. Okay, cool. And then this one for sure is everybody. Who's ever got rejected by a girl? That's what I like to see, right? So we got some honesty here. But okay, so what do all these things do for us, when we're out there experiencing these different types of things in our life? So let's say, for example, you got rejected by a girl. Most guys would think of that as sort of like a shameful thing, look down upon, you don't have good game, maybe you're not good looking enough, maybe just it wasn't the right date, all this types, like different types of bullshit. But what it really is, it's building sort of like a callus for you, Now you know what not to do when you go to approach a girl, right? So if you think about it, failures are actually what build up towards our successes. And one of the greatest examples I've actually, when I found out about this example, it really influenced me about how I go about things in my life. So it's called the failure pendulum. That's what it's called. So think about a pendulum, right? It's like 1 o'clock, it swings back and forth. The pendulum, it goes one side and the other. That's all it does. So on one side you have, success, happiness, acceptance, joy, fulfillment, all these really good things, really good outcomes of things we do in our life through experiences. The other side is failure, pain, rejection, sadness, all these negative outcomes or perceived negative outcomes by societal means. And so what this example says is most people walk around their lives in the middle. They're not willing to experience so much pain, so much suffering, failure, all these things that are really something that help setbacks, challenges. So if you're not willing to experience so much pain, rejection, sadness, you're not going to experience so much success, happiness, fulfillment. And what it says is, you got to swing it in the opposite direction for it to go to the success side. And that's what we're all aiming for, right? To go to the successful side. So, just basically, the more you push it towards one side, the farther it's going to go on the other. And it's not going to go into the successful side unless you push it in the other way, right? Think about like professional athletes and stuff. Or people who are good at sports. They put their body on the line. They're working out, doing two-a-days, waking up early in the morning, eating a really, really consistent diet, which by most means, for everybody, that's something we don't do. And what are they doing? They're getting out of their comfort zone. They're experiencing all the pain, all the suffering of what it takes to become a disciplined athlete, and then they're getting paid millions of dollars. That's how it works. You get paid a lot. And then, just thinking about that, it actually kind of reminds me. I like to use like life experiences because you gotta walk the walk, talk the talk, walk the walk type thing. One of the biggest failures I've ever experienced in my life, just by curiosity, anybody ever wrestled? Nobody ever wrestled? Okay, so you know what it takes to be wrestling. It's tough.
Sport.
It's a tough sport. Tough sport mentally, emotionally, and physically. You gotta cut weight, take away your food. You gotta work out a lot if you want to be good, And I think it's a perfect example of the pain principle as well as the mental aspect because you're really pushing yourself towards the limits, right? So I actually got inspired by my older brother because he started wrestling first. He lost he weighed 168 when he started. He lost 40 pounds in like 2 months or something, and he got skinny. He'll show you the before and after pictures. Pretty miraculous. And so that's what inspired me. So I had this very big drive, really motivated. My first year of wrestling, I always went to the hardest people. I found the hardest people on the team, and I went and wrestled them, and I got my ass whooped. Like I got fucked up, throwing left and right, getting in like headlocks and all that stuff. And he can attest to that. I was getting whooped. So from failing, I pushed that side of failure. I was losing matches left and right. My record was like 12-36 in my freshman year, losing the most matches. I don't care. I was out there wrestling varsity, getting my ass whooped. Following year, I come back sophomore year. I'm actually ended the year winning the most matches. I actually was 1 match away from qualifying from states, and it's just all this pain that I went through was finally paying off. You know, I'm seeing the wins, I'm seeing the passion that you know, yeah, I get my hands up in the air at victory, you know? And so I was experiencing that success side. But then what kind of happened was, you know, my mindset, I was always stuck on that comfort zone. Now, you know, I was experiencing pain, but like not going all the way. You know, I was kind of cheating on my diet. I didn't want to cut that much weight. You know, sort of like whatever motivated me was kind of like, you know, holding me back. And it was that mindset that, you know, I don't want to experience that pain that was holding me back. So what happened was, junior year, my skills were good, but like that pain, I didn't want to experience it. You know, it was sort of like a mental struggle. And that's where the mental side of wrestling comes in, if you've ever wrestled before. And my senior year, so I almost went to states again. My third year, one match away from states again, I lost, completely devastated, man. Like it was, I worked so hard, and then I didn't get it because, you know, I wasn't pushing that side of pain. Then my senior year came along. It got even harder. A new coach, new system. He was a college coach, actually. He was like a 2-time NCAA runner-up, like big guy. Like he was tough, like a man's man. He was a tough guy. And he pushed my limits so far, I ended up quitting. And here's how the story goes. I basically gave up a state. I could have placed in states. So I could have had a trophy in my hand. I could have had like a bracket with my name at the end. And all because I didn't want to push that pain principle. I didn't want to experience it. I didn't get that success, right? So that's like a personal example of where, you know, when you don't push that side, what happens? You don't get anything. I stuck in the middle. And you know, you kind of, that's why people experience, towards the end of their life, when they're 40, 50, 60, they experience a lot of regret, right? Regret because, you know, what could I have done? What could I have done better? What was my potential? And I didn't want to, you know, like sacrifice, you know, some time, you know, maybe partying less, maybe just disciplining yourself a little bit more. What are the little things that I could have done that could have manifested itself in the future as that pleasure, that happiness, you know, having the things in your life, having abundance. And because it didn't push that pain side, it didn't get to that, you know, the pleasure side. And, you know, it's just sort of like an experience I had in my life. And, you know, I like to use other examples, like when we're going out picking up girls. Augustine knows about that. We go to the club and stuff, you know, having fun, blah, 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 you know, we're just there. And he's a beast, let me tell you guys. If you ever go out with him, go out with him, bro, because he's a beast. He'll go to any girl just like, hey, what's up, what's your name? Hey, what's up, what's your name? Like, going back and forth, and it's really funny. And, he gets rejected a lot, bro. I'm not gonna lie, but what happens is he gets into a state of, he's failed so much, and then he finally gets into state and he starts experiencing those successes. And I've watched him do this, where he almost took that girl home, bro. Remember that? He almost had that. And I was pissed for him, but you know that's a whole other story. But okay. So what's the point here? You know, whenever I go out with these guys, especially with my other friends and stuff, I always tell them, yo, fail faster. Yo, fail right now. Go up to that girl and burn it down. Just fuck it up. Just tell her the stupidest shit you can think of. Like right now, just go and do it. Because what happens is you get outside of that comfort zone. You experience that pain. So now you're going into the success side. As soon as like, you know, you get over that fear. Get over the fear, you know, of talking to a girl. Like it's not bad, but like you're just talking to a girl. She's not gonna eat you, but like, we're not praying mantises. You know, after they have sex, they bite the head off. The female bites the head off the male. So that's not this, bro. That's not this. Look, so they start experiencing that success side, and what happens is they get girls' numbers. You know, sometimes they take girls home. You know, different things like that. So what's the whole point of this? I've actually, you know, learned to not only be okay with failure, which I think is what most people are. Like they're okay, yeah, I'll experience a little bit. You know, I'll do a little bit. No, fall in love with it. You know, strive for failure. Strive to, you know, experience that pain. Be happy with it. When you get those failures, if a girl says, you know, fuck yeah, let's go talk to another one. You know, when in school when you're studying, get pumped to study, because that's the pain principle for school. You know, studying, putting in the time to learn the material. That's the pain principle for school. Go out and study, get happy for it, get pumped. You know, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna learn some new materials. You know, when you're at the gym, you know, you're trying to reach a level of like physicality, or you know, you got like body goals or whatever you want to do, like images. Put the pain in. You know, get addicted to the idea of that pain you gotta feel in order to see that success. You know, because that's why the bodybuilders are the biggest. That's why professors are the smartest. That's why you know, pickup artists pick up the most girls, because they put the work in. They're willing to experience that pain, and that's why they see that massive success. So I'm actually gonna end. I've been here for like 15 minutes, so What I want to end on is, if anybody knows a guy named Darren Hardy. Anybody know Darren Hardy? You know who Darren Hardy is? Okay. So for those of you guys who don't know him, Darren Hardy is he's a really wealthy investor. He's a businessman. He owns a magazine. He owns Success magazine. Very successful guy. He started early in real estate business and he's built an empire off of that. So he's very he has a lot of accolades. Is that a word? That's a word, right? Okay. So he really impressed upon me this idea of failure. Fall in love with failure, and you'll see that massive success. So what he said was, this is a quote. I didn't write it down, but I know exactly what it was. He goes, "If you are willing to seek massive pain, rejection, and sadness, you will get massive success, joy, and happiness." And that really struck home for me because of the fact that I started doing those things in my life. Going and talking to people who it would be crazy to talk to. Asking people the hard questions, getting out of that comfort zone, experiencing the rejections, the pain, the negative side, and now I'm seeing on the positive side. The things that are happening in my life that would have never happened had I not done the work. Put in the pain and all that good stuff. So just hopefully that really resonates with you guys in your head, and maybe if you're having the same problems that I used to have, maybe this kind of helps a little bit. But with that, I'm actually pretty much done, and I think John was going to talk after me. So I've heard a lot about him. He's a really smart guy, according to Augustine. I heard he has a lot of business experience with when he had the internship. So that's pretty good failure right there. You're going out and talking, trying to sell people books, right? Is that what it was? So I mean, he has some really good knowledge. So without further ado, John, want to talk?